I'm Asha James and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at Blue Pearl Resort, but we'll be taking you to the east, the west and the capital, Scarborough, as we share with you some of the events and the activities that keep Tobago teeming with life. So come along as we get right into the action, starting with this week's top stories. Tobago is gearing up for Carnival 2023. The main ridge has gone solar, a step in the right direction towards renewable energy. And the young people of the Caribbean assemble in Tobago for the Regional Youth Summit. We'll bring you these stories and more right after this break. Stay with us.
Are you seeking employment or advice on labor issues? Then look out for the Office of the Chief Secretary, Department of Labor's Outreach Caravan 2023. We are coming to a community near you. The caravan rolls into Canaan on Friday 20th January at Penny Savers Supermarket from 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Whether you're an employee or an employer, you'll get up-to-date information on labor laws, labor-related issues, health and safety issues, and assistance with employment opportunities. For the full caravan schedule, visit the Department of Labor's Facebook page. The Labor Outreach Caravan 2023, empowering a productive workforce.
It's been dubbed the mother of all carnivals. National Carnival 2023 has already kicked off with its recent Tobago launch and an action-packed slate of activities. We have an update for you in our first story. Here's more.
Something telling me Joe, something telling me where, something telling me this is the end.
Today is important because the website, we launch our website finally, TobagoFestivalsCommission.com. This is going to be the hub of everything that's festival in Tobago. And when I say the hub, this is almost where the gateway to anything you want to know about festivals. This is where you can go now.
There is a national carnival and there's Tobago's carnival. Unless these stakeholders agree that we should move away from the national leg of the show, it will continue as long as all persons related and affected agree, then it's something we can look at. As it is now, it remains as part of our calendar of events.
This island recently got some welcome support from the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP, with a new solar power installation at the Main Ridge Visitor Center in Bloody Bay. It's all part of encouraging a transition to renewable energy, as you'll hear in this story.
Tobago's Main Ridge Visitor Center is now solar powered. It's all courtesy the European Union's Global Climate Change Alliance Plus initiative, along with the Ministry of Planning and Development and the United Nations Development Program. A formal handover ceremony was held at Main Ridge Visitor Center in Bloody Bay.
For us in Tobago, we are grateful for this project. Just a few months ago, we experienced unprecedented levels of rainfalls. Owing to the climate crisis, owing to the changes that we are seeing, our seasons are much more extreme. The rainy season is wetter than usual. The dry season is drier than usual. And there are implications for small island developing states such as ours.
As you know, we are off-grid. And because of that, we would have had problems in using our refrigerators or computers and laptops and such like that. Because we are now an orientation center. We have tourists coming in. And not only having tourists come in, but schools, we can project information onto our screens, even if our officer is not present.
What is really critical, it's actually the carbon sink. The rainforest is a carbon sink, you know, it sort of acts as a carbon sequestrator, right, to reduce our carbon footprint within Trinidad and Tobago. And this solar would add to that with respect to renewable energy. So it actually propels our thrust towards environmental sustainability.
The Main Ridge Visitor Center is one of 12 sites across Trinidad and Tobago earmarked for a solar panel system. Bayside High School is the other Tobago site that will benefit from the program. I'm Megan Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Residents of the Adventure Development in Plymouth took full advantage of the inaugural Executive Council Town Hall meeting to have their issues addressed. They were promised and delivered a follow-up meeting, and we have the highlights. Have a look.
Our presence here is to solve problems that you all are now facing, and we hope that we do the best that we can to make your life and your standard of living improve.
The maintenance that we are paying for the past, $300 for maintenance, almost 90% of the homeowners there are with TTMF, and they indicated to us that the money is in an escrow account. Of course, we would have had the issue. I spoke with Mr. Bosland, seeing him for the first time in person, regarding that issue. I had a conversation with TTMF, and they reiterated that nothing cannot be done unless settlement give instructions.
I have been a homeowner since December 2015, right? I've been paying them a mortgage since the 31st of December 2015. And they are telling me the only way that they can transfer the funds to my mortgage, they are waiting on directive from settlements.
The electrical work is a case where when some of us move in, the problem was that they use 110 wires for air condition. And when you try to use your washing machine, because they put it on a lower grade wire, it chips off the entire thing.
The service fee would cover things like insurance because of the common spaces, the lights, the whatever. The insurance coverage for you all you don't know, but it is $200,000 per year for all of the blocks. To paint with good paint, to do the landscaping, the drainage, the lights, the whatever, all of these things that are common to you all is what the $300 per person service fee is supposed to cover. In relation to the WASA money, the $200 is an estimation of what your bill is likely to be when it comes on stream. Property tax is also an estimation also. TTMF has that WASA money on escrow for us because the development, when it was approved, it was for built out of all the other green spaces around you all. And because we have not progressed to the other spaces as yet, WASA has not been did not give us a final certificate. So, but we have worked out something with them now. So within a short space of time, there should be bills being generated in an account in everyone's name.
We will be addressing them, as the administrator said, and as Secretary Hackett said, in phases, piece by piece. Hope that we could bring some measure of relief for these long overdue problems you all have.
You are watching Let's Talk Tobago at Blue Pearl Resort located on Sherburne Road. We have to take a break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we share more stories with you.
Are you seeking employment or advice on labor issues? Then look out for the Office of the Chief Secretary, Department of Labor's Outreach Caravan 2023. We are coming to a community near you. The caravan rolls into Canaan on Friday 20th January at Penny Saver Supermarket from 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Whether you're an employee or an employer, you'll get up-to-date information on labor laws, labor-related issues, health and safety issues, and assistance with employment opportunities. For the full caravan schedule, visit the Department of Labor's Facebook page. The Labor Outreach Caravan 2023, empowering a productive workforce.
So Tobago is not only a great place to vacation, it's also increasingly become a hub for island-based national and even regional events like the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit, where some of our industrious young minds gathered to discuss their contributions to wider society. We have more in this story. Have a look.
The Youth Summit is a platform for youth to share, find their own voice, and contribute to the future. The theme was adding global value, taking charge of our future.
But the reason why we are in this room is because we have, as part of our inheritance, global issues for which we perhaps did not even contribute towards, but that we must find solutions to. and that we must fix. We have to find the solutions. And I want you to not take for granted the weight of that responsibility that you have. Do something. And you may not even be successful at getting it done, but just do something. Let it be said that you did something. Even if it wasn't successful, just do something about the way you feel.
I want to leave this with us. I heard throughout the session that persons are talking that we are the future generation. But I love to say that we are the now generation because we are impacting the next move. We are impacting the next policy decision now. So continue to strive, continue to push, and let's build, look, not only one Guyana, but one Caribbean.
This is my first summit that I've been to, and I can say that it's so powerful and impactful to see that we youth have such a powerful voice here regionally and within our country. I've already started to discuss with Leo about the things that I want to start implementing with our own youth and have a national development with it.
The 3-day sessions were held at Shore Park Complex. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
They've worked tirelessly to achieve success. And then it was the turn of Tobago's top achievers in the Cape and the CSEC exams to get deserved recognition for the fruits of their labor. Let's show you how things went at a recent special ceremony.
These students are in the top tier of the region when it comes to Cape and CSEC exams. They were recognized by the Division of Education, Research and Technology for their excellence during a recent ceremony, and they were encouraged to keep striding forward.
Students, I implore you that as you move on to the next steps in your academic journey, that you remember my opening statements. Education is the most powerful weapon of change, and that you are indeed world changers. The future is yours to design, and it is my hope that you continue to make an impact wherever you may go. That you constantly make room for yourselves at the table of greatness. And today, as you're being recognized for topping your local and regional peers, an amazing feat, if I may dare say so myself, you must know that with that success comes responsibility.
I celebrate you, dear teachers of our students on the merit list today. As the true instructional technologists that you are, you believed in the abilities of these students to soar to academic heights. You who have committed yourselves to teaching, not simply for grades, but for learning. You are the co-authors of the story of the successes of these students here this morning.
I know what it is like to be a parent of a teenager, especially in today's world. Because when we were teenagers, things were slightly different. When your parents tell you something when you were a teenager, you had no choice. Gumbo you may, but go is a must. Now you may get a little debate. And of course, when they are very brilliant, of course they are going to debate with you. They are going to, give you another side and another perspective and so on. And you have to try to, find a way to have that discussion with them. But I want to say that, we have lost a lot in terms of our parenting, and I'm hoping that we can go back to that because these are young persons and they will continue to need your guidance. They are not adults as yet, and you need to be there and continue to be there for them. So that I really want to commend you parents for the role that you have played and the role that you will continue to play.
The students awarded hailed from Bishop's High School, Scarborough Secondary, Signal Hill Secondary, and Speyside High School. I'm Megan Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we've come to the end of this edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and it has been our pleasure bringing you a close-up at our slice of paradise. As always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. To find out more about Blue Pearl Resort, you can call 340-5988. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show, coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Now, the energy is absolutely amazing this morning, and for those of you joining us as you take your morning breakfast, your morning meditation, and even those of you tuning in as you drive on the road, thank you so much for choosing Tobago Updates to start your morning on the right note. Now, today is Youth Wednesdays as per usual, and we have a lot packed for you. But before we get into that, I am your youth host, Luke Trim.
And I am Kaylee Lewis. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning, Kaylee. And you know, Kaylee, I noticed that our live shot is courtesy Socialize the event. So big up Socialize always, Kaylee. What's been happening in this space thus far?
So many things have been happening. You know, Carnival is fast approaching. Yes, we have a lot of parties happening coming up.
A lot.
Definitely excited for that.
I don't know if you saw the Trinidad calendar. Wow.
Jam-packed.
So many events. So many events. So, Kaylee, which one will you be attending, Trinidad or Tobago's?
I'm not sure.
I understand, Kaylee. What else has been happening in this space?
I mean, it's been crazy. It's been a little calm, you know, not too much been happening.
Not too much. It's been very calm, but you know, every time it's calm in Tobago, some storm.
Something is always.
Let's look forward and hope that, you know, we can handle whatever it's to come. You know, it's always in the political space. Something is gonna come.
Some bomb always dropping.
And Kayla, I would have noticed that in Shore Park Cultural Complex, we would have started an indoor court. Oh yes. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I saw that.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's very interesting, and you know, development in Tobago is always good, especially when it benefits young persons.
Yes, or especially our young athletes.
Yeah, as you would have heard on the Tobago notes that would have just gone by, one of the delegates from Guyana, he said that people always say that we are the next generation, but we're actually the now generation.
Yeah, we are the now. So it's really great that we have the power to take charge of our future, and hopefully all we need is that nudge, Kaylee. All we need is some older head, some mentor that could guide us in the right direction, so we can really step into our purpose. So yeah, so Kaylee, now it's your time to shine. So viewers, listeners, we're gonna head over to News in 90 Seconds with Kaylee Lewis.
Thank you, Luke. 11 entrepreneurs received seed grants worth almost $73,000 in total. The grants were part of the Realization of Economic Achievement Program, better known as the REACH program under the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. Entrepreneurs were awarded checks worth no more than $7,500 each for the purchase of equipment, stock, or investments in their business, ranging from hair salons to landscaping and food preparation. The entrepreneurs applied for the grants over a year ago. However, the division was awaiting funds before awarding them to successful applicants. Tobagonians do not believe their suggestions and concerns expressed at consultations will change the proposal to increase electricity rates. The Regulated Industries Commission visited Bell Garden to gather views from the public on the proposed increase of TNTEC rates. While many residents expressed concern about the new rates' impacts on their declining purchasing power, others expressed dismay and despondency that their comments would be considered. However, the RIC explained that their fears were not warranted because they are already considering several suggestions made by citizens at previous consultations. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley expressed excitement yesterday following the granting by the U.S. government to lift sanctions, allowing Trinidad and Tobago to move ahead with natural gas trade agreement with Venezuela. As a result, Trinidad and Tobago can begin extracting hydrocarbons for the Dragon gas field after certain conditions are finalized. According to Dr. Rowley, this permission means positive economic development not only for the country but for other CARICOM nations as well. There are also indications that the gas deal will result in lower fertilization costs for the agriculture sector in the U.S. That was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very, very much, Kaylee. And that last news you would have read, Kaylee, it shows us how we have to be important of what we consume on the media. Because I don't know if you saw that article or that photo where they quoted Dr. Keith Rowley as saying, difficult times ahead for Trinidad and Tobago, and then we heard him say the complete opposite. So I think that's a win for us here in Trinidad and Tobago, especially the CARICOM. Wow. So let's see the developments with that, Kaylee. Are you excited?
Of course I am. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Great, Kaylee. So we have a few birthdays or just one birthday today?
We have one birthday this morning. She's sharing this day with nobody. This is her special day.
Yes, it is.
So we want to say happy birthday to you, Miss Liesel Henry Wilson. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family.
Kaylee, we must tell our viewers and our listeners what they have in store today. So starting us off, we have Asha James, one of Tobago's very own football player. Next on our list, we'll be bringing on Colonel Joseph, famously known as Trinidad Killer, and he's going to be speaking to us about attaining your life goals. Lastly on our list, we have Darian Phillips, a committee member of Socialize the event. So, viewers, listeners, we have a packed segment for you today. Don't go anywhere. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is here. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much man, good day. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last, raise a glass.
Socialize!
27th of January, look for where.
Comfort Inn and Suites presents Sweet Soca, the all-inclusive edition, featuring the Vice Queen of Soca, Van Lyons Alvarez.
Let's go.
And the Viking of Soca, Bungie Garland.
I'm not going no small fret. Let me extend my apologies.
Welcome to an all-inclusive premium experience with an all-star DJ cast, live steel band, a fully stocked premium bar, and cuisine from around the world, and many more surprises. This is a staycation package you don't want to miss. For more info, call our hotline 612-3835. It's the Comfort Inn and Suites Sweet Soca, the all-inclusive edition, Saturday, 4th February 2023.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. This morning, we're being joined by one of our very own, Miss Asha James. She has been awarded Best Player. Good morning, Asha. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Okay, great. Wonderful to hear. So what emotions are you feeling right now? Are you excited? Are you proud of yourself? Because we're definitely proud of you.
Yeah, I'm most definitely proud. I'm happy to start my professional career this year and see how it goes for the remainder of the season.
Okay, and in terms of motivation, what would have motivated you to start this football career? Because you're into football, so how would you have started your journey? Was it your parents? Someday was just home playing and somebody realized that you have talent? Was it at school? How did you begin your journey?
For me, I've always been involved in sports, so I just choose the one that I like the most. Eventually, I was in long distance running. I tried track and field, tried multi events in track and field, triathlons, basketball, cricket. Um, at the end of the day, I had to choose two. I stuck with javelin and football because it was getting too much for me to juggle in terms of school. And in the end, I picked football because I loved it more than throwing javelin.
Okay, and to be awarded Best Player of the Year nationally, I could imagine that probably took a lot of hard work. What was your regime like? What was your what did you do? What are some of the things that would have contributed to you achieving this title?
I think it most definitely is the hard work. It's been an up and down year, 2022. Good with national team, then we kind of finished on a low, not qualifying for our first World Cup. And then school was really nice. So honestly, I would say hard work pays off, and definitely all the prayers and glory to God for giving me this award.
Okay, earlier on you would have mentioned that you tried a couple of sports before you stuck with javelin and football, but football would have been the one that came out on top. Who would have been the persons that encouraged you in football and javelin? You know, some of the local sports persons in Tobago. Who were some of those persons?
Well, I did football. I grew up under Peter Sinclair. I think he played a major role in my footballing career coming up as a youth. He always used to speak about how Dwight York would go down, being also from Canaan, and he would go down on the field and just kick, he alone kicking the ball against the fence. That time we had galvanized fence in Canaan still. Um, and that really encouraged me to get out and do the work by myself when it came to football. Javelin is, all I would say, all because of Wade Franklin coming out of Zenit. He was constantly behind my long distance coach. Let's she try it, and then I really tried it one year and I made the character standard. And from there, I never looked back.
Okay, great. And you play a team sport, so I can imagine that, oftentimes you'll experience conflict within the team. How did you deal with things like that? How did you deal with motivating your teammates, keeping yourself motivated, and dealing with conflicts?
Honestly, I would vent to my mom, and she would always have good words to say. like more positive things, because you know in the heat of the moment, you as an athlete, you at least to me is not, I'm not so quick to resolve problems. I would just let you do you and I do me. So I say, you know, my mother plays a very good counseling role in my life. Yeah.
Okay. And you would have mentioned Dwight York before. Is Dwight York one of the only persons who you would consider probably one of the persons that inspired you in terms of a sporting person, a sport hero? Or are there other persons?
Yeah, I would say Dwight York is one. You know, I'd say Kenya Yaya Kona also is another one. I used to look up to growing up as a youth. She always inspired me as a female to see what, you know, what could be achieved with hard work.
And this is definitely a huge title, but are there any other achievements that you would have made as a sporting person, or is this your biggest achievement? What do you consider your greatest achievement thus far?
Yeah, I think this is top tier for me. Being named, you know, Trinidad and Tobago's best player of the year. I think this is by far the best accolade I've achieved under my footballing career.
Okay, so only up from here, only up. And in terms of on the island of Tobago, do you think that enough is being done to develop talented young persons? Do you think that more should be done? If you think that more should be done, you could probably just elaborate on that.
I think a lot more could be done in terms of the resources that um, us as athletes have to our disposal. Um, like for instance, like Canaan, our field is terrible. Like it looks so nice on the surface, but as soon as you start running it, you could literally break your ankles, and that's what that side of Tobago has to train on every day, weekly. And so I think like little things like that, um, fixing up the fields could help athletes achieve their full potential, because that's the training ground. That's where they are majority of the time when they have football activities.
Okay, and I also can imagine that along your journey, you would have faced a lot of challenges. What are some of the challenges that you would have faced? I mean, I know for some persons, for myself personally, if I were an athlete, because I'm not, I feel like diet would be something that would be a little ticklish for me to stick to in terms of being consistent. What are some of the things that would challenging for you?
You're talking about like in whole or like last year?
On a whole, what are some of the things that were challenging? I mean, if you want to specify something last year, it doesn't matter, but in general, what are some of the major challenges that you faced?
Yeah, I can agree. I can also say dieting is one that is very challenging, because I like to eat sweets, and too much. I'm unfortunate to gain a lot of weight very quickly. You know, I have some friends that they could eat a ton and they don't gain weight. So dieting is a struggle for me. Also, you know, I guess in the last few years, losing my brother, that was also a hard thing for me to go through. Um, so I guess those are two things that um, that I've been working through.
Okay, and I'm proud to see that you would have worked through, you're still working through, and you've been able to make it to the top. In terms of sacrifices, what are some of the sacrifices that you would have had to make aside from trying to not eat as much sweet as possible, because you said that you have a sweet tooth?
Hmm. I don't know. What sacrifices? I guess family time, you know, being away from family like 3/4 of the year, that's a major sacrifice to be made in this life as a professional athlete. Because everything for Trinidad and Tobago is done in Trinidad. And as a Tobagonian, you have to go to Trinidad to try out for the national team, to train with the national team. Um, so that's always been a struggle for me. As I love being around my family most of the times.
Okay, okay. And in terms of in the future, What are some of the things you're hoping to achieve?
Honestly, just building my name in Europe and, you know, looking forward to seeing what team I'll play on next, as my contract ends in June for this club. And so, you know, I know the Lord will lead me where He needs me, so I'm not too worried. But human nature, you tend to, your mind will flick on things sometimes. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to just becoming a big player in Europe.
Okay, that's amazing. And in terms of preparation, I know that a lot of persons do different things to prepare, you know, before a match. Persons have like the little rituals that they do. I'm not sure if you have any of those, you know, if you just pray or if you have something else that you like to do. Probably call your parents because you said you're a family person. I'm not sure. So you could probably just tell us a little bit about your preparation before a match.
Honestly, I like to get in the zone by listening music because I tend to get very nervous. Like, no matter how many times I've stepped on the field wearing national colors or just club football, I will always get nervous. So I always zone in or zone out with music, and that would help me to, you know, go into the game a little more comfortable.
Okay, and for young persons in Tobago who are interested in probably becoming the best player of the year, like Asha James, what advice do you have for them?
Honestly, it's all about having or sustaining a solid relationship with God. You know, the scriptures tell you that, you know, if you seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, everything would be added unto you according to His will. That's Matthew 6:33. So, honestly, having a faith in God and having a relationship with God through your hard work and consistency, you know, everything would pan out.
You know, Asha, I love how spiritual you are. I love that you keep cementing the fact that having a relationship with God is important, and it's definitely one of the biggest contributing factors for where you are today. So thank you so much for coming to chat with us this morning. Thank you for being an inspiration. We are definitely proud of you and continue to do great things. Viewers,
thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Viewers, that was Asha James, the best player of the year in Trinidad and Tobago. She is a football player. She's on the national women's team, and we are so proud of her as Tobagonians. We'll be going to a short break. Please remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is yeah. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much my heart could take. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last. Raise a glass. Boy,
Socialize!
27th of January. Look for where.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Youth Wednesday show here on Tobago Updates. Now, Carnival 2023 is set off very soon, and you know it's going to be the first carnival for Trinidad since COVID. And you know we have so many events that will make the memories worthwhile. On set, we have with us this morning Miss Darianne Phillips, a committee member of Socialize the event, here to give us everything we need to know about this event. A special morning to you, and how are you doing?
Good morning. I am good. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice.
I'm excited to hear all about this event.
Yes.
So, Socialize, it's a very simple title, but it has an impact. What would have led to the selection of this name, Socialize?
Well, the BWV Entertainment did some rebranding, and out of it came Socialize, because we came out of the pandemic, and while we were in the pandemic, we could not socialize, right? We could not meet, we couldn't greet, we couldn't hug, we couldn't do a lot of things, and now we are able to do that. And we would have created an event that would allow us to do that while being entertained by local artists. We have Nadia Batson and her live band. We have Mikhail Teja. We have Ufran Abs. We have Farmer Nappy, a favorite to like everybody. And we have our wee boy, Tam Tam,
yes.
is gonna be there, right? So, Socialize came out of, we were in a pandemic and we now can socialize. So we are going to socialize at Socialize.
Makes sense, makes sense, makes
Yes.
sense. So for people who are interested in attending this event, what can they expect? Besides the artists, what's the experience, the vibe they can expect from this
All right,
event?
so we are hoping to transform the Shore Park complex to the Soca Hall of Fame. All right, the general would have a fully stocked bar. There would be specials on Guinness and Stag. So you don't have to worry about coming with your cooler or fighting up to go to the supermarket to get any drinks before ice or nothing like that. We would have that all of that covered. General again has access to VIP toilets. We are keeping it on the inside of the complex, so it's gonna be nice and cool. You don't have to be worrying about sweating off your makeup, because we're going to have a good time, right? We're there to have a good time. Now the VIP patrons are in for, wow, an amazing treat. A very, very amazing treat. So besides the fully stocked bar, you don't have to worry about cash because we have Lynx machine up there.
Okay, nice.
You have free drinks. We have Campari. We have whiskey. We have wine. We have vodka. Yeah, just about that. Besides that, there is a special. You get half price. Once you purchase a VIP ticket, you get half price off a stay at Comfort Inn. And this stay includes breakfast. Wow. So after you're done fet and you're done drink up, you could go and get your food.
Wow.
Right? So they're in for a surprise. They're in for a really good treat. Yeah?
So tell all of viewers and listeners more details, the dates, remind them of the location, the price for this event.
All right, so Socialize will be held on the 27th of January. That is this Friday, as in Friday, the Friday that coming after tomorrow. Right? It is at the Shore Park complex. General tickets are $300 and VIP $600. You can get tickets from AVT General at the Port Mall, Vogue Boutique at the Port Mall, Trish Creative Touch in Mason Hall, Pablo Supermarket in Argyle, Urban Lust at the Lowlands Mall, Movie Town at the Lowlands Mall, and Fairways in the Plantations. Or you can go on ticketfederation.com to get your tickets.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank? Because I could only imagine what the planning was like for this event.
Oh, we have sponsors, we have partners. Our sponsors and partners would be Absolute Vodka, B-Mobile. Oh, by the way, no, we're not really trying to support the whole you're in the event and you're on your phone all the time. However, we do have free Wi-Fi.
Okay, nice.
We have free Wi-Fi at the event. So all you have to do is to Socialize when you get there and you'll be connected. So B-Mobile, NLCB, Absolute, we have AVT General, we have Tobago Media Concepts, you know, Tobago Updates. How could I forget Tobago Updates? Big up all at one time.
All the time.
Right? So yeah, we have a huge list of sponsors.
Okay, that's great. How about anyone on your team you'd like to shout out at this moment who would have helped you throughout the entire process?
I don't
it's
think
too much to list.
Yeah. That's it. It's a little bit much.
Okay.
But we big up the whole BWV Entertainment one time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this being one of the first
yeah.
events to hit
We're gonna set
Carnival,
the tone.
yes, to hit set the tone for Carnival. What are your feelings being that first event, all eyes on you? What are your feelings?
I am actually a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous,
Okay.
but I have a lot of faith in the organization because it's not the first event we would have put on, and it's a situation where we would have taken the time to rebrand, to sit back and just watch, look at how things are happening, and I think we have it.
You have it.
Yeah.
And I notice your marketing is is top notch, down to the hoodies and all. Are those hoodies on sale? I'm sure people would like to know if those hoodies are on sale.
We always up for entrepreneurial spirit, so yes.
Okay, great. So what's the price for the hoodies for people who want to purchase a hoodie?
All right, so you'll have to stay tuned to the BWV Entertainment social media for that, right? So you could go over to Instagram and follow the pages, BWV Entertainment, and you would see all the information. All the hype is there, all the artists there, so you don't have to worry. I wonder if they're really bringing...
all the info is going to be right there.
Yep, the artists are there, saying that they would be here, so yes.
And I must ask, is this event Socialize replacing Soca Spree?
I cannot say that it would replace it.
But it's just going to be there.
Let's say for this year.
For this year?
Yeah,
okay.
let's say for this year.
Okay, great. So are we to expect anything for our own Tobago October Carnival, or it's too soon to ask just yet?
Stay tuned to the social media.
Stay tuned to the social media.
I can't say a lot of everything.
I love that response, and it's good that you all have a social media to get us information. Because so many parties, the most they're gonna get from the page is the name of the party and nothing else. So it's great to know. It's great to know we have that info hub right there on it's Instagram. We're all on Instagram. Yes. Tell our viewers where we can find you.
BWV Entertainment on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay, great. No TikToks yet.
Not yet.
So I don't know, probably after this event,
we'll get there.
It's gonna be filled with TikToks. Okay. So I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, for giving us all that information. You're gonna we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back with a giveaway. So we're gonna come back with a giveaway. So viewers, stay tuned. Remember to share the live. We'll be right back with a surprise.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is here. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much man good day. Socialize. Freedom at last. Raise a glass.
Socialize.
27th of January. Look for where.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And we're back, and it's giveaway time. So for those of you that want to participate in this giveaway, our contact number is 284-6597. That is our WhatsApp. So get your WhatsApp locked and loaded because we're about to do a giveaway. So I'm going to hand you all over to Miss Darian Phillips, and she's going to ask a question. And the first person to WhatsApp us the correct question will win something that is really worth the while. So Darian, the floor is all yours.
All right. So I would have listed all the places that you can get tickets. I need the person to list 4 of the places.
4 places for viewers.
I ain't gonna make it too hard and tell all.
So viewers and listeners, you have to list the 4 places where tickets can be available. All right. So you WhatsApp us, WhatsApp our number, and we are here waiting to see who will be your lucky winner this morning. So to WhatsApp us, it's 284-6597. That's again 284-6597. So we're gonna take and wait. Are you gonna tell them what they're gonna win, or it's gonna be our next surprise?
Maybe I could encourage them a little bit.
You could encourage them
to do it quick.
Encouragement.
Yeah. So you're gonna get a free ticket to the event.
Okay.
To enter the event.
Okay, come on, viewers. That's just one WhatsApp away from making
going
memories of your life on Friday the 27th. So again, our WhatsApp is 284-6597, and the question is, where are 4 locations you can get your tickets for Socialize the event?
Somebody get it?
the winner was. So viewers and listeners, that's it for Socialize the event. You have all the info, you have all the information. It's going to be a scene. So Darian, once again, I want to thank you for joining us this morning on our Youth Wednesday show. I know that event is going to be one for the book. So thank you once again. So viewers, we're going to head over to another commercial, but remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Welcome back. And like I mentioned earlier, our live shot is courtesy Socialize, the event, that lovely ocean view, that's just Tobago view, beauty for your money. Now, our next guest, he's no stranger to the performing stage with his numerous hit songs, warrior-like personality, and his newly opened restaurant that is doing numbers in Trinidad. Joining us virtually this morning, we have Mr. Kern Joseph, famously known as Trinidad Killer. Killer, a special morning to you, and how are you doing?
Blessed morning. You hearing me?
Hearing you loud and clear in Tobago, Killer.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure being on the show here this morning.
Yes, thank you
and I
so
want
much
to
for
say
joining
good
us.
morning to everybody who locked on.
Great, Killer. So let's start it off. What would have led to you selecting the stage name Trinidad Killer? Okay, viewers, we seem to be having some internet issues here with Killer. So we're gonna hope that he can come back on and join us back. But until then, viewers, Killer, are you hearing us?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Nice, nice. So what would have led you to select the stage name Trinidad Killer?
Well, long time growing up in Arima, you know, we come from an era that everybody used to meet in Arima and the drugs and vibes now, boy. And we used to have song clash men like Squeezy Rankin, Bungie Garlin, Benjai, Poppleton, you know, and many of the times I would have entered the song clash and win now. So everybody used to say, boy, you kill the thing, boy. We had to call you killer, eh? Because every stage show it had a long time. I always used to make myself present because I love entertainment and I love the entertain. And most of the times I used to come out successful in winning the competition. They used to have a small prize for somebody bring a hat and everybody started promoting the hands. But like, you do it going on, you know, killer. When I break, I realized that name couldn't come off from me because I tried to change my name numerous times and don't matter what, you know, when somebody know you for something that is going to stick on you. I say, so if it have a bounty killer and it have a Mr. Killer, why I can't put Trinidad in front of the killer? I am not a killer in killing human beings, but are killing the music.
Great. And getting into the music industry, what would have been the motivation for you to say, okay, I want to get into the music industry?
Myself, I was the motivation to get into the music industry because really and truly in this music industry here, it had no love. And I just talk it plain as I see it. So you have to be your own motivation. Once you want to achieve something, you have to put mind to it. And no matter what people say to try to distract you, you just continue going. Myself is my biggest motivation.
Good killer. And you know, throughout your entire career, you have been very vocal about it not being an easy road for you. What were some of the challenges that you would have faced throughout your entire career, and how did you overcome them?
I've been to plenty people in the music industry when I was coming out, you know. I have been on stage with plenty acts too at a young one, Marshall Montano, at that time in Tobago in Soca Spree. When Marshall was in Soca Spree and called me up on stage, I went on the stage, I flattened the place. I know if everybody in Tobago who does party go know that. I've been on stage with Bungie Garlin, I've been on stage with real artists, and in my career I went to plenty people for a little break, and I never get, and everybody know how talented I is. It has some people born to do music, and it has some people learn to do music, and I feel I was born to do it because no matter what they say or what they do, they can't stop me. And see, every year it's just hits upon hits upon hits.
Your skill, and you would have mentioned, is hits upon hits, and your career now, it's taking higher heights. You know, your music is viral, your name is trending. You said you would have gotten the car, you have the
And
career,
yet,
you have the
and,
restaurant. And your career is
and yet,
basically now, you know, your career is now, everything you wanted is now being manifested into your life. How did you stay
yeah.
anchored to achieve these life goals?
Well, you know, in spite of what I know what I wanted, you know, and I put my mind to that. The difference between dreams and reality is called action. Somebody could just say, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then make a step towards it. It will never happen. Yet still my music is trending and my music is up there, and still the people and them, they don't want to book me. And some people might say, yeah, Trinidad Killer Caroline for bookings and here and there and wherever. But it's not that, you know. I as a youth come from the ghetto, although a product from the prison. I've been to prison. I'm not afraid to go on a platform and say that Trinidad Killer have been to prison. And prison, if it wasn't for prison, I would not be which part I am today, because I is a man full of mind. Once I say I put in my mind to do something and I put in my mind to this, is that I tell myself, boy, I don't want to go back in prison, so I start to do the right thing. While I was in prison, I entered the competition, the Soca Monarch, because it was had the prison competition. I end up winning. I come and win People's Choice. I win Road March, and from there, I say, boy, I really have this thing. But when I go back outside, I want to do this thing serious. And it's been about 12 years now. I haven't been back in the prison and successful as a black man, and people had to come together now and start to support me, because in spite of all the negativity surrounding Trinidad Killer on the media, I was able to create opportunities for 6 people at my establishment in Arima, and people that only watch at the negative side of things, but they don't watch the positive side of things. You understand? I was able to create opportunities for 6 people at my establishment. And I just want to, that is my vibes. I just like to help my people. Black people have to come together and start to unite. You understand? Every year in the soca industry, it's the same artists over and over, the same 10 artists. It only have 10 artists in Trinidad and Tobago. That is why I don't support certain things, you know. Remember, I is a product of the ghetto. That is what they want to say. I am a product of the ghetto. Right? But once I get money, I could empower my people. I could do something for my community. So when people keep giving these artists money on top of money, money on top of money, money on top of money, what's going on with the youths? And then after they saying the youths going astray, the youths doing this, the youths doing that, no, it's lack of opportunity for the youths in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? And we have to come together, because watch it, there's so much of big threats going on. I must be one of the biggest tune right now in the carnival. You understand? And yet still you see in Trinidad Killer not in the big fete, Trinidad Killer not there, Trinidad Killer not there. You understand? Because of the politics within the whole music industry. And that shouldn't be so. Everybody deserve a fair chance. But I want them to know that God don't sleep, you know. When a man doing a party and see that you do a party and it bust. You remember when I say all fete in Tobago go bust, so said, so done. That not the work of me, no, that the work of God, because some wicked within the heart. They know, yes, boy. You know, a woman in foreign reach out to me on my Instagram and tell me you have one of the biggest tune in the season, and I find in them 1% fets. We not seeing you right now. Me and my household is not pleased with that. You understand? Because I do not deserve that. I only look how long I only thing every year is hits after hits after hits after hits after hits after hits after hits. If we realize right now the music, the soca, I'm not afraid to say that right now the soca going down the drain. Look, Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have a soca monarch this year. We don't have a soca monarch this year. In spite of what Grenada does have the soca monarch, St. Vincent does have the soca monarch, St. Lucia does have the soca monarch, everybody does have a soca monarch. But which part soca originate with the steel pan and all these things? We don't have a soca monarch this year. Because you know why? Everybody fighting for money and nobody not fighting for the culture. Nobody ain't fighting for the culture. I find that real stripping is so like youths now, like Young Brother, like Temper, Mikel Teja, all of them now, Ding Dong, Trinidad Killer, myself, and all them youths and them now, who you see coming up year after year after year with good music, and even have an opportunity to get a start in life because plenty people come from Soca Monarch, and Bungie come from Soca Monarch. Marshall Montano come from Soca Monarch. Them win that for years, get $1,000,000 upon $1,000,000 upon $1,000,000. But nobody ain't looking into the thing and saying, boy, time for we to pull this thing together and save the culture. Everybody just running down money and position. Plain talk, bad manners.
All right, Killer. So I would have got from your last response that you're a person, you don't network up the body, you like to bring the people at your side up with you. So what motivation do you have for youths and especially the young artists coming up? What motivation do you have to leave with them this morning to wrap up?
What motivation? Time for we to come together. Because let me tell you something that you don't know. DJs had a circle, artists had a circle, announcers had a circle, everybody had a circle. You see, we on the ground, we had to come together and form our own circle and start to unite and show them how powerful the ground is. Because at a point in time, they wasn't even playing with music on the radio. But since they bring social media, stars is emerging in a day. When you look, sometime a man go viral on Instagram, a man might go viral here, and the next day he have a tune and he bust and everybody following. So I want you to come together now. Time for we to come together and form we own group and let we start we own thing. Trust me. And if you're going for something, don't let nobody tell you you can't do that. It's mind over matter. Just put your mind to it and start some way. Because I know, I know it are plenty youths out here very, 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 very talented and they just have no opportunity for them. So I just want to say continue doing what you're doing. Is a love, is a respect, and feel free to reach out to Trinidad Killer for any assistance. Anything or you want to find out about the music industry, or you can reach out to Trinidad Killer. Also follow me on Instagram at Trinidad Killer, Killa. TikTok, everything. I love how you and I respect how you Tobago. Tobago love in the building. When them sleep, when them sleep. Are you don't know what to lie, Mawa? Just bring the bottle and we take a shot. While we going right down. You know, I must be them with a little line. I am the weatherman for all of them were evil. It was a blessing being here, brother. Keep up the good work and keep on doing what you do best.
Thank you very much, Trinidad Killer, for joining us this morning. We really, really, really appreciate it. And I hope you have a blessed and productive day today, Killer. Thank you once again for joining us.
Same to you.
Okay,
love in the house.
So viewers and listeners, that was Trinidad Killer for our interview about how to attain your life goals. You know, despite his warrior-like spirit, he did drop some gems this morning, and we are so thankful to have him on the Youth Wednesday show this morning to shed some light and to also motivate the youths, especially youths in the community that are oftentimes marginalized. You know, Killer is a living representation that, you know, good things, talented things can come out from the quote-unquote ghetto community, according to Trinidad Killer. So viewers and listeners, that was your Youth Wednesday show on Tobago Updates. Now I want to thank everyone that tuned in. Thank you once again for choosing Tobago Updates to start your morning on the right note. So we're going to be heading over to Good Morning Tobago with Chanel Felix. And I want to thank you all once again. Thank you so much. We're going to see us here next week again. So viewers, don't go anywhere yet. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. And thank you once again for joining us this morning.
Today is important because the website, we launch our website finally, TobagoFestivalsCommission.com. This is going to be the hub of everything that's festival in Tobago. And when I say the hub, this is almost where the gateway to anything you want to know about festivals. This is where you can go now.
There is a national carnival and there's Tobago's carnival. Unless these stakeholders agree that we should move away from the national leg of the show, it will continue as long as all persons related and affected agree, then it's something we can look at. As it is now, it remains as part of our calendar of events.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Scary. Yeah. Jesus Christ, mother walk, look at people behavior. Yeah. We getting on bad, we up in your area. Yeah. When you see we coming, you know it's danger. Yeah. We better than you and all of your neighbor. Yeah. And we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. Cause we no afraid, we no afraid.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if you're nice can't be damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Rest assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan, Tatil Life, guaranteed protection. Whole Life helps me secure their future, provides financial protection with added benefits. Whole Life, the affordable financial benefits plan, Tatil Life, guaranteed protection.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Lifespan is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life. Guaranteed protection.
Safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Scary. Yeah, boom. Jesus Christ, mother walk. Look at people behavior. Yeah, we getting on bad, we up in your area. Yeah, when you see we coming, you know it's danger. Yeah, we better than you and all of your neighbor. Yeah, and we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. And we no afraid, we no afraid.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is here. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much man, good day. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last. Raise a glass. Boy,
Socialize!
27th of January. Look for where.
Comfort Inn and Suites presents Sweet Soca, the all-inclusive edition, featuring the Vice Queen of Soca, Van Lyons Alvarez.
Let's go, let's go!
And the Viking of Soca, Bungie Garland.
I'm not going no small fret. Let me extend my apologies.
Welcome to an all-inclusive premium experience with an all-star DJ cast, live steel band, a fully stocked premium bar, and cuisine from around the world, and many more surprises. This is a staycation package you don't want to miss. For more info, call our hotline 612-3835. It's the Comfort Inn and Suites Sweet Soca, the all-inclusive edition, Saturday, 4th February 2023.
To Good Morning Tobago. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and guys, you know when you see me here, we're about to get into some conversation. One of those conversations that you want to hear to get your morning started and asking the questions that you want to know. Now, we have a power-packed morning this morning, but before we even get into that, I'm going to start off with your news in 90 seconds. So 11 entrepreneurs received seed grants worth almost $73,000 in total. The grants were paid
in part of a realization of economic advancement of the Economic Achievement Program, better known as the REACH program under the Division of Health, Wellness, Social Protection. Entrepreneurs were awarded checks worth no more than $7,500 each for the purchase of equipment, stocks, or investment in these businesses, which ranged from hair salons, landscaping to food preparation. The entrepreneurs applied for the grants over a year ago. However, the division was awaiting funds before awarding them to successful applicants. Additionally, Tobagonians do not believe that their suggestions and concerns expressed at consultations will change the proposal to increase electricity rates. The Regulatory Industries Commission visited Bell Garden to gather views from the public for the purpose of increasing the TNTEC rates. While many residents expressed concerns about the new rates and how it would impact their daily lives, their declining purchasing power, others expressed dismay and despondency that their comments would be considered. However, the RIC explained that their fears were not warranted because they are already considering several suggestions made by citizens in previous consultations. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley expressed excitement yesterday following the granting by the U.S. government to lift sanctions, allowing Trinidad and Tobago to move ahead with natural gas trade agreement with Venezuela. As a result, Trinidad and Tobago can begin extracting hydrocarbon for the Dragon gas field after certain conditions were finalized. According to Dr. Rowley, this permission means positive economic development, not only for the country, but for other CARICOM nations as well. They are also indicating that the gas deal will result in lower fertilization costs for the agriculture sector in the U.S. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Again, good morning, guys, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago. Now, the youth have been at the forefront of discussions lately as we just came out of the Caribbean Regional Youth Summit. That was quite successful, we might add. However, this morning we're getting into a bit more on strategy and what we're doing to empower youth. This morning we're talking about the youth empowerment strategy that is being produced by the Division of Community Development and Youth Development and Sport. And this morning I have the privilege of sitting with me Mrs. Anne-Marie DeGazo, who is the Youth Development Director at the division, as well as our Assemblyman, Pastor, Assemblyman Terrence Baines. You know, we have the Bishop, Assemblyman Terrence Baines. We always love having you here on the show. It's always a fun time when you're around. We have a good time on set. But this morning, we're talking to the Secretary of the Division. And as the Secretary of the Division, you have been working along with the division to further this strategy that was being worked on for a while. Yes. And I guess you guys are at the stage where you are taking more consultation on this strategy that has been developed in the division. So, Ms. Anne-Marie DeGazon, tell the people of Tobago a little bit more about this youth empowerment strategy and how it fits into the entire global scheme and local scheme of youth empowerment.
Okay, good morning, viewers, and we're indeed pleased to be at this stage. For the department, it's wow. We've come through a period about 2 years working on this document, and I want to say that it has taken that long because we're using a very involved process. One of the core philosophy of the policy is co-creation, and when we talk about co-creation, we're talking about involving the persons who will benefit from this policy position in the development of the policy. So we started in 2020 with a draft that was compiled by a team of persons from our department, from the Tobago Youth Council, and our CARICOM Youth Ambassador worked on an initial draft, which was taken into consultations with youth, young people, youth organization, our stakeholder divisions, and all agencies working with young persons had an opportunity to contribute to the policy document itself. Following that, we again sent it out publicly and invited persons to work with us on an implementation plan. So we now have an implementation plan that spans a 4-year period that will detail all of the areas. And I want to say we started working with about 9 pillars of development, And from our consultation and the implementation plan working teams that were there, we're down to just about 5 pillars. And we think that it's a comprehensive way to address the needs, issues, and situation of our young persons. But previously, young persons or actions towards working with young persons would have been viewed as us helping them. And I think this strategy takes a radical shift in that, so that it is us working with them to do what needs to be done from a developmental perspective. So we're really proud that we've come this far, and we now have a final draft of the policy document as well as the implementation plan, which we are now taking back to those who were involved and those who were even not involved and now want to join in, to take a look at it and see if we captured the intent and the ideas that were expressed, so we can now move it to the stage of having the final leg of approval.
Excellent. And so the strategy talks to youth inclusion and creating the type of environment that is a safe space for young persons to thrive. Now, we have been known historically to create a number of beautiful documents that often tend to sit in the THA without its implementation. And I see that you guys worked on an implementation strategy. So I want to ask the Secretary, Secretary Baines, what are you doing to ensure that this implementation is done and that we don't just spend thousands of dollars on another fancy document that does not get implemented?
And good morning, and thank you for having me here on set and so on. And I want to start by sending a shout out to Assemblyman Wayne, Assistant Secretary, Wayne Clark, who really should have been here this morning because he has direct responsibility for the youth and sport. But he's a bit under the weather, and we hope for speedy recovery for him. Our mantras and administration is to see Tobago become the best little island on the planet. And that's not just some political rhetoric. We are committed to doing all that we can to see this realized. And of course, youth and youth development is a critical component of that. And so everything that the department is doing to get us to that place as it relates to youth work and youth development holistically, I must say. I am prepared as the secretary, and we are prepared as a division to support that. We are aware, as you said earlier, that there have been a lot of these glorified documents and some magnificent intents in black and white that just take dust in some corners and so on. But we are determined to see the realization of the work that is done. And when we talk about 2 years and we talk about the expertise of the persons and me just looking at the strategic plan and the comprehensiveness of it, this is something that we must make sure it is implemented and implemented speedily. What I would say as well, as we were talking about in your 90-minute clip when you expressed how people feel about consultations and so on, by doing this and the effectiveness of it, I think that is going to give life to the relevance of consultations, and people will have a sense that when you make an input, it is going to be reflected in the final document and so on. So I think that our delivery of it and treating it with the respect that it requires is going to help this process as well.
And Mrs. DeGazon, I want to ask you, because some of the words that stood out to me were social inclusiveness, and another one was co-creating Tobago sustainable development. I want to start off with social inclusiveness. Tell me a bit more about that, and how does that include members of the rural communities as well as individuals that are part of the special needs community?
So in youth, the issue of, well, it's not limited to youth, but the issue of intersectionality. And one recognizes that youth is a social construct. It's not an age. So for us, a youth in Trinidad and Tobago, as defined by the National Youth Policy, is a young person who is ages 10 to 35 years old. In other territories, it varies. So it depends on our social realities in Trinidad and Tobago. And for us, we felt that young persons at age 10 were making a particular transition now. A lot of the issues now, prior to that, it was 12. The decision to carry it a bit lower had to do with the whole development that's taking place and awareness among our children. Sure. And then the upper age group, it was felt that even up to 35, because sometimes of our living arrangement, a 35-year-old can still be at home, still requiring some kind of support to acquire things like housing and so on, so they can move on to independence. So the policy captures that wide age group. So you would appreciate that in that broad age group, there are different categories of young persons. And I like to say that youth cuts across every sector. We have young people in agriculture, in tourism, in business, in sport, in then we have young persons who in dance, in drama, in music, in the arts.
And so how does the strategy intend to include these groups of individuals in the co-creation of Tobago's sustainable development?
So in our consultation process, we started there. So we had consultations even with our young persons who were in prisons. And so they participated. We heard from all of these sectors of young persons, and it was that broad in terms of hearing their authentic voices, what they wanted, what they felt, what they thought about climate change, what they thought about rural development and all of these issues. And so at the consultation stage, it started. We are going to have it at this final presentation as well. It will be sent to all categories. We had young persons from the LGBTQ community who were also involved in the consultation stages. So we left no stones unturned. When we say youth, we talk about all youth. And that is what the policy speaks to about co-creation. They were involved in examining the wording that we use. You know, what are the programs and the projects that would be defined as we in our implementation plan. And so we went through that kind of a detail in the developmental stages. And we would expect no less at this final examination of the document. So even with the invitations that go out, the invitation is going out with a copy of the policy and the plan, and a form, a feedback form where persons can indicate what words they feel they need to change, what statements, what everything. So by the time we're finished with that, and it will be a document that the youth of Tobago can claim, hey, I put that word in there, you know. So that is what the co-creation is about. It's not just a token and listen to your views and then we put it here. You understand? It is you were part of writing this document.
Okay, and so I have to ask, is it that we are reaching out and getting the feedback and the consultation for inclusion in the drafting of this Tobago Youth Empowerment Strategy? But what we want to know is, coming out from that strategy, how are youths going to be directly involved in policy creation? That falls outside of the remit of the strategy. Let's say, for instance, health-related policies related to youth employment and social advancement. How is that going to be done? What has some of the suggestions that has come forward for young people to actually impact those type of policy decisions that are being made by our representatives?
Well, certainly you will find in some of the provisions of the policy, it speaks to continuing that process of inclusion. So for one example, I want to pick out, which the young people were very insistent on, is that we should have youth representation on all state boards and committees. That was one. So that their voices are heard directly, and not that the things are being developed and then we ask them what they think, but they are part of that creation process. We also, one of the very first pillar of the policy speaks to the coordination of youth development activity and work through the appointment of an intersectorial youth committee that is now going to chart how the policy is implemented. So the means to, and that is why it's called a strategy and not just a policy, because it speaks to what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So the youth inclusion kind of permeates throughout the process. But there is a responsibility that young persons have out there, because it is easier for your voice to be included if you are organized yourself. So we are calling on young persons to not just sit back and say, hey, they say they're going to do this for us and let me see what they do. But you have to take an active role in presenting yourself to be included. So when the call goes out there, so if we have this consultation and the young people don't come out, we can't say we didn't invite. You have a responsibility too. So when we're saying you have a right to be heard, but you have a responsibility to present yourself to be heard. You have a responsibility to organize yourself into bodies, join the youth group and the youth clubs, form one if you like, don't like the ones that exist, so that there are mechanisms out there that will allow you to participate effectively.
And so you guys are saying that this consultation is going to be held on Tuesday, the 31st of January.
Yes.
This is going to be held at the library.
It's going to be held at our division's conference room. We have a large enough space there, and we are having 2 sets of consultations. We are having one in the morning from 9 to 11 for students, and we are having one from 4:30. We did put 6:30, but I ain't putting a closing time yet because we want to ensure that the voices are heard. So the flyer would say 6:30, but we're starting at 4:30, and that one we're incorporating. We expect the average young person, whether you're in a group or not, come out, whether you're in a youth organization, whether you're part of the stakeholder community, which includes our divisions and other organizations that work on behalf of youth, come out to the 4:30. But we're doing it a little further. We are ensuring that it is also virtual. So there will be a link that is going to be shared. So if you feel you don't want to come to the physical space, you want to sit at home, you can also do so and participate.
Okay, tell me a bit more, Secretary, about the Tobago Committee of Sustainable Youth Development. That committee that has been formed, is this the committee that has worked on this document?
Well, it has not been formed as yet. It is one of the actions coming out of the policy. You know, very often the leadership would appoint committees for specific purposes. So we had a working committee which included young persons in the developmental stages of the policy. And so carrying that forward, the intent is that we would also have a committee that comprises youth and the stakeholders who will see to the implementation of it.
All right. And so this committee would not include members that work within the division, but external persons?
Well, it would most likely have a representative from the division, because to create the linkages and ensure that it is there, but primarily it is going to include civil society sectors in the implementation.
Okay, and tell us why it's so important for young persons to see the need to participate in this consultation.
Secretary Baines could take this one. Yes.
Well, I mean, you know, the issue of youth and youth involvement in what takes place in a governance space, comprehensively and so on. You know, there have been some voices, and in some of the, let me put it like this, some context where people figure that young people can't, you know, be involved in certain things in policy making and in governance structures and so. And although they have these tokenized things where you have youth parliament and so on, but actually a manifestation of youth involvement is lacking. And so I think the fact that even at a governance level that you have a bunch of young people, including myself, of course, in the governance landscape, who have an appreciation for what youth brings, what youth bring to the table, and so on. So we are driven experientially to make sure that there is youth involvement, and the issue of youths clamoring to be on the various the boards and those kind of things is a matter that is of paramount importance. You understand? Because we really are committed to seeing youth in every facet of the community and its development and on the governance landscape and so on. I believe that in order for us to get to where we want to get to as Tobago being this idealistic gem, that you have to have youth playing a critical role, not just tokenized role, but critical, fully involved, as long as they have the skill sets and so on so to do.
And we are also encouraging parents to want to send their students out as well, the younger persons, because what we realize, as you said before, is the young persons are advanced, are so advanced now more than ever. I think I have a niece that's probably 8 years old, and she could have a conversation of adults. And now with technology and their level of exposure, they are able to say what it is that they want and help to chart the future that they want to see. So you have indicated that the venue is on the 3rd floor of the division at your conference hall.
Yes.
Right, that's on the top floor.
Top floor.
At the top floor. And we are targeting 100 students from that 9 to 11 a.m.
Yes, we are. And we're taking from across the island, so some primary schools. So all of the secondary schools and about 11 of the primary schools, we're asking them to send in some representatives. If they want to send more,
okay. And so this has been already communicated to the Division of Education.
Yes, it has.
And correspondences has already gone out to principals, and we are awaiting their responses and so on. That's right. Okay, and then we have that evening session that you said, and that one is for the older youths.
Yes.
All right.
As young as you feel.
As young as you feel. Well, guys, you heard it here. That is the Tobago Youth Empowerment Strategy by the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. And it encourages the Tobago youth to come out and have their say on the strategic document that is being put forward to help to empower young persons. Now, young persons are often complaining about different issues in the area of housing, employment, education, access to funding, grants, entrepreneurship, and just access to overall decision making and policy that's happening on the island. So this presents an opportunity for all young persons from all cross sections of the Tobago society, whether it be a youth group, whether it be a church, whether it be you as an individual, just having interest in deciding or charting the way for the future of Tobago. You are being invited on the 31st of January. This is a Tuesday. There's a morning session. If you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, invite them to come out. And guys, are there any closing remarks that you want to make before we wrap up this morning?
Well, go ahead, sir.
No, I am particularly encouraged that the link is there for virtual involvement, because there are young Tobagonians who may not be on the island in Trinidad.
Correct, because I did participate in the last consultation while I was in Amsterdam.
Right. So that will be a major plus as well, to get perspectives from even young people who have an interest in Tobago's development but maybe residing in another jurisdiction. So I'm happy for that.
And we had that. Apart from yourself, we had several young persons who participated virtually during our consultations, and we were able to get those young men who were in the prisons also participating virtually in our consultations. So we hope that we're going to get as wide a wider sector, and I want to say it's about you. This is your time, young people of Tobago. Come out and let your voice be heard.
Okay, and one thing before we leave, I remember during that last session we had our breakout groups where we chose an area under the pillars that we were working on. One of the restrictions, though, was that time was against us. We didn't have enough time to really flesh out some of the key ideas that came from the different individuals that were in my group particularly. And then we were asked to submit those responses via email and to have them considered. What I would like to know before you go, do you really think that one day is adequate to get the type of response and feedback that is needed?
Right. Well, the feedback will continue, so we are allowing the document to stay out there for at least a 2-week period to give people the time to read it yourself. But the consultation is that period where you want to come and speak to it and say what you want to say. It allows for that. But if there's a demand out there for us to have other let the young people say, and we're gonna, you know, we will have to.
Yes, no, I mean it's a fluid situation. So there is flexibility. Nothing is not like the laws of the Medes and Persians that alter it not.
Okay, and how can individuals find the first draft that exists out there right now?
Well, it exists out online. So we are going to ensure that it's on the Assembly's website today, so you can get a copy. You can call us if you want an individual. The link is going to be placed on social media, our communication department. So from today, you should see a lot of things out in social media. Just before we leave, I do want to thank a very special person who assisted us with this policy, and it's the consultant that worked with us, Mr. Henry Charles. Mr. Charles is like the guru of youth work in the region. Right? He is from St. Lucia, lives in Trinidad, but he worked on the National Youth Policy, and he also supported us in pulling this document together. And I really want to say a very special thank you to Mr.
And I know there were other young Tobagonians that worked on it as well, such as Latoya Roberts and a number of other young persons who were integral in the process. So we want to thank them. So guys, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the information, and we would be sure to be a part of this session and give our contributions as well. So guys, as you heard on social media today, on their website, Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, you would be able to see the first draft of that document and have your say. Guys, we're going to a break and we'll be right back.
Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Scary. Yeah. Jesus Christ, mother walk, look at people behavior. Yeah. We getting on bad, we up in your area. Yeah. When you see we coming, you know it's danger. Yeah. We better than you and all of your neighbor. Yeah. And we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. We no afraid, we no afraid, we no afraid nothing. How we no afraid, we no afraid.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Good morning again and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you all already know when we're here in the mornings, we're having those really in-depth conversations. And this morning, we're talking about labor, employment, and labor development on the island. And how do we help to build that human capacity here on the island of Tobago? And this morning, I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Elon Mayo. And
Good morning.
Good morning. And he is the Director of Manpower and Labor Relations at the Department of Labor, which sits under the Office of the Chief Secretary. Yes. Good morning. Good morning
good
again.
Morning, good morning.
Welcome to the Good Morning Tobago platform.
Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning. I think it's the first time I'm seeing you. Is your first time
First
here?
time. First time.
All right.
First
I hope
time.
you're not too nervous, right? We're going to take it easy.
I'm alive. I'm
right.
good. I'm good. I'm good.
So, for a lot of us, we have not heard of the Department of Labor or really know about some of these services that you guys provide. And so please take the time out this morning to explain to Tobago what the Department of Labor does and who are some of your key partners.
Okay. Now, Department of Labor has been around for decades. We're talking since the 80s here. And we've been around so much that what we do is primarily helping people find employment, one, and trying to keep a stable industrial relations climate. The calmer the climate, the better the job we do. However, you know, because of specific reasons, we are still here and we're still doing that job in keeping the climate calm. The job that we do basically is not something that can be advertised. Because a trust has to be maintained with parties. And that trust and that confidentiality is key to us doing our job effectively and efficiently. So primarily, that's our job.
Okay, and so tell me, because when we think about labor and we think about employment, a lot of us, we think about the Public Service Association and authorities, the PSA. Do you guys have any relationship with them?
All those are partners. We primarily deal with the private sector.
Okay.
Right now, with government, we are government.
Okay.
So we can advise our supervisors, our superiors in matters. But how we are here for the private sector. We are here for the person on the street, the supermarket, the stores, the domestic workers. We are here to represent them. And not just them, but their employers as well. We are a neutral party.
Okay, so you usually represent THA employees as well as private sector employees?
We don't, THA employees are different. As government, we are also government. That's government to government, which is himself unto himself, conflict of interest.
Right.
We represent employers and employees in the private sector.
In the private sector,
yes.
Okay.
So we are a neutral body, a neutral party.
So you represent the interests of employees to their employers.
And employers to their employees.
So you kind of function as the public sector version of the PSA then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's understood.
And we maintain that neutrality because sometimes there are issues on either side. We cannot take sides. We are there to find out the issue and to help solve the issues.
Okay, so if an employee has an issue with their employer within the private sector, this is where they come to the Department of Labor to try to get those issues rectified. Okay, understood. Before it goes into probably the court system or has to go into any type of negotiation and mediation. Okay, so tell us what are some of the key issues that you tend to see pretty often and have to deal with?
A lot of times people would come in for advice, dismissals. You see, to pinpoint one key area would be difficult because they come in for many things. Sometimes maybe dismissals, constructive dismissals, maternity, overtime, wage payments, advice. So it varies.
Right.
So it's not just one thing. Sometimes they'll come in, looking for additional employment, because we have a manpower unit, looking for additional employment. So it's not just one thing. It's a series of things that they come in for.
Okay, excellent. Now, one of the issues that we tend to see a lot in the private sector where employment is concerned, you often hear employees complain that I've worked for a year, I've worked for 2 years, and when I went for my maternity or when I got sick is when I realized that my employer was not paying NIS on my behalf. Talk to me about that issue.
Now, with the NIS issue, there's a department in NIB that deals with that. Now, they can come to us with that situation, and we can guide them to the process. But there's a wing, a department in the National Insurance that deals with employers who are delinquent in paying their employees' national insurance.
All right, so you kind of just guide them to where they should go as opposed to...
Yeah, because there's a department in NIB that deals with that, right? We allow them to deal with that.
Right.
So even if we do an investigation and realize that is the issue, we would pass that on to NIB. Even if we do an investigation and realize that there's a health and safety issue, we'll pass that across on to the OSH agency.
Okay, excellent. You talk about manpower and having a database. Tell us about how some of your efforts have, in the past, helped to alleviate the unemployment issue on the island of Tobago and how you guys plan on assisting with alleviating that unemployment issue.
Well, the manpower database has been around for some time. Well, I should say it's a best kept secret, apparently. So we have people that come in. We have a lot of persons that come in and put their name on the database, their resume, their documents, ID card, birth paper. And when we have postings of vacancies from the private sector, they would normally send us, email us, call us, hey, we're looking for X, Y, and Z. Do you have them? Check your database. It helps them from sometimes putting out an ad on the papers or an ad on wherever. And we have a Facebook page, so we normally post it out on our Facebook page. And we thalabor@gmail.com is the email. So a lot of people would send in their resumes, for different postings and different jobs. In essence of that, even THA jobs that we would see post, we'll put that out to kind of help in bringing in more people.
Right.
So
and so that's where I was going.
database,
Are you guys also helping individuals get jobs within the THA?
Yeah, we try our...
So are you then assisting the different divisions with their recruitment process?
Not directly, but more indirectly. So when divisions have their postings out, we would take the postings and give it a wider audience so that they have a greater cadre of personnel applying for the job.
Okay, but you guys do have this manpower database.
Yeah.
So is it, or why is it not that the database, why isn't the database being used to send possible candidates that fit the descriptions that these divisions have directly to human resource units at the different divisions?
That's a conversation that is still to happen. The database was a part of the overall short-term program years ago. However, that program now is each division now has their own short-term program. So our database now is primarily used for the private sector. However, if there are THA vacancies that we have personnel that can fit those, we call them vacancies are available, you fit the qualifications, you fit these level, can we send in your
application?
Or would
so you send the application in on their behalf?
Once we call them and we get their okay. Sometimes they would be like, no, we will send it in, not a problem.
Right.
But once we inform and let you know, this is what's happening. As well as, we offer training in things like customer service, basic industrial relations, terms and conditions. We have a very good relationship with the financial literacy as well as the business development units. We normally get persons from either one of those departments to lead in minor financial management. And well, the OSH department is under Office of Chief Secretary as well. So we have them there to partner with us in basic office safety.
Okay, you said that you guys have been around since the 80s and this database has been in place for a very long time. Now, tell me if this has been a conversation before, if it's one that would have to happen. But this current administration has spoken extensively about the need for digitalization and increasing the technology that is being used at the administrative level within the THA. So why is it that human resources departments within the division are not able to have access to this database? So instead of always having to put out a posting, or even when a posting does go out, it is done through that means, so that when the HR department is ready to select their recruits, they are using the database as opposed to doing it through the regular manual way. Tell us a bit about that.
There's a conversation that is currently happening at, well, at the HR level at OCS. So it's not something I can currently speak about, but there's a conversation that's currently happening.
Yes, because then if people are constantly sending their applications to the database as opposed to sending it directly to the divisions, and the senior HRO and the HR specialist have this database where they can, type in keywords like marketing or communication.
But we have to remember that in sending out, posting a vacancy, right, is also about accountability and transparency.
Yes.
Because you see now, with the database, you can have personnel who are qualified, right? But you also want to expand it to the wider Tobago public so that they can make sure to also have the opportunity, to at least be shortlisted and interviewed for the position.
Right.
So even with the said database for THA postings, right, you also need to have it posted externally, to make sure that there's that level of transparency, trust, and accountability, so that once you are confident that you're going to have a pool of qualified, competent personnel that you can now interview and get the right fit for the job.
I totally agree with you. And I've seen it a lot, especially outside of Trinidad and Tobago. There is the need to post it, whether it's on LinkedIn, social media, whatever the case may be. But there's always a link that sends you to, whether it's the company or the organization's website, that may link you to a site such as Workday, where you go and you upload all your documents and stuff, and it's consistently in that database. Are we moving towards that level of technological advancement where we are trying to do away with all the paper and we have things adequately documented, such as the employees that are applying for these positions, and in such a way where a person who would have uploaded their resume in 2012 can now log in using their username and their password to update their resume, because they would have gone and done more studies and qualified themselves. Are we moving in that direction?
Well, if you've been listening to our Chief Secretary, that is where his mindset is. And at the Office of the Chief Secretary, we have no choice but to move with the speed of our Chief Secretary. And if you listen to the Honorable Prime Minister as well, everything now is to be digitalized. So eventually, in time, once we have the appropriate technology, it will reach there.
Excellent, and that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that we are moving forward towards that direction. And before you go, because we have to wrap up, how can people utilize your services? Where is the office? How can they use you to get employment? Let the people know how they can get involved.
At present, we have an ongoing outreach program, which started last week at the Penny Savers compound in Canaan. Right? We're attempting to be in every village for the year. And it's not going to be just for this year, it's going to be for next year and continuing. Next week, Carnival Friday, we're going to be at the Port Mall downstairs, first floor, from 9 to 12. In Lowlands Mall from 3 to 5, right? And we're bringing all our services. Our labor officers will be there. Our manpower officer will be there. Tima will be there. Osh will be there. Shore Park will be there to advertise all events happening in Shore Park, right? And we'll be bringing all our services. Our office is currently actually behind the Port Mall, right next to the Printry, San Cecil Jubilee Park, right? 639-3421, extension 6043 and 6042. As you can find us, thalabor@gmail.com. So look for us, you know, the caravan, the outreach program is there, and we're bringing all our services to you. Check us out on our Facebook page, Department of Labor, Office of Chief Secretary, THA, and you'll find the schedule and you'll find us.
Oh, well, excellent. So, guys, you heard it here. Look out for them in your community soon, maybe outside of your local grocery or one of the key meeting areas in the different communities where you would see the Department of Labor bringing you their services directly, raising awareness and having that level of outreach to identify some of the employment needs and labor concerns within your different communities. So, guys, we'll be right back after the break as we continue more with other conversations. Guys, see you soon.
Everybody only worrying.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now, 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning.
Welcome back, guys, to Good Morning Tobago. And as we wrap up the show this morning, we're talking a bit about what the Regulatory Industries Commission has been doing here in Tobago, as they have been having their consultation on the proposed tea and tech rate increase. Now, as you may know, there were consultations that were held at the Canaan Bonaccord Community Center on Monday, and yesterday there was a consultation that was held at the Bell Garden Community Center. Now, residents have come out to express their dissatisfaction. Some persons expressing the need for them to receive a raise of pay before the government can even consider raising any utility bills. Now, I have with me in studio this morning Mr. Lyndon Mack, who is a community activist and has been very vocal in the Tobago space on a number of issues. Now, you made it very clear at the session on Monday at the Canaan Bonaccord community. Are you a resident of Canaan Bonaccord?
Yes, I'm a resident of Canaan Bonaccord.
Okay,
good morning to you and the average Tobago public.
Good morning. And so tell me, even before we get into it, why did you see the need to get to not only attend the session, but to make your voice heard?
Well, I think literally the aim of the consultation should be to improve the quality of life for every Tobagonian, which is critically important. In my humble opinion, looking at what has taken place thus far, I do not believe that this, at this point in time, is in the best interest of every Tobagonian based on how the consultation is done. Yeah, we saw and we heard a group of panelists indicating to us that they are looking to revise the rates, and they have offered a proposal. But it's my humble opinion that they have already taken a position on that, and it's their final position. And what we are just seeing here is just going through the process.
The motions. And so they have proposed a 15 to 60% increase. Now, this is while a number of Trinidadians on a whole are already currently struggling with the rates as they are.
Correct.
Now, you would have expressed the need for them to consider the plight of the poor person. However, your main concern is the inefficiency of the consultation. Tell us more about that.
Literally, we had a consultation for 2 days. We have a backward process where when we want to make something happen on a fly-by-night basis, we come to Tobagonians in the last phase. Consultations, real international consultations, takes months. And if the aim is to improve the quality of life for Tobagonians, then you must have an alternative measure for a Tobagonian, and just in the event that they cannot afford these rates increase. What you are looking at here is a raise increase from not just this entity. We have to prepare for a raise increase for WASA, and you're also having a double standard, because now on top of all of those services, you are charging us now to pay for our bill. It's a double standard that it's not making sense.
Right, and you also vehemently advocated for them to meet a wider cross-section of the society.
Correct.
In that you believe that the consultation did not adequately encompass a representative sample of Tobagonians.
It does
Talk
not.
to us more about that.
Literally, we have a population of about 50,000 to 60,000 Tobagonians. If the aim of the stakeholders is to bring every stakeholder to the table, which we know might not be possible, but you're saying you're bringing an average. How do we know the goals of this consultation is literally going to be met by every Tobago resident if we don't have a milestone of what we aim to achieve by the percentage of Tobagonians who are going to be consulted? What you are saying here is not even from the Bonaccord conversation. What is even 1% of Bonaccord Canaan residents living there? So literally you are seeing a motion that is happening, but it is not the true representation of what stakeholder consultations are. The next side of the issue is we are wondering, is the commission an independent commission, or is it that they're doing the bidding of just a government that says, we want to increase the rates, go to Tobago to do this, etc. There's no Tobago, and I can applaud you right now. Everyone who's looking at this station, at this interview right now, if you should go on their social media page, they will tell you they have never heard of this commission. This commission has not represented itself in the space of Tobago for the last 15 years. For how many years I'm living here, and I'm 30-something.
Well, I am really not in a position where I could comment on whether or not there are any Tobagonians on the commission, but I think during the session they indicated that they had a colleague from Tobago that was there as well.
Mr. Ray Sandy.
I don't know, what was his role?
They said Mr. Ray Sandy is a representative of the commission. But we all know Mr. Sandy served as chief advisory to administrator to the last THA. We don't know literally if this process is going to be a fair process. The average Tobagonian who has struggled with their bills, they go into TNTech, they go into WASA, Telecommunications Authority, to vet their issues on a monthly basis.
Right.
There is no way the commission has never made itself visible and present for the average Tobagonian. And this is where the poor marketing comes in. So to hear of a commission for the very first time, and then you're having a next issue directly where, again, we are at a position where Trinidadians are coming to Tobago to consult with Tobagonians. Don't we have our own Tobagonians who can be able to sit at the table independently to be able to make these decisions on behalf of Tobagonians? It's a backward process.
One of the things that that came out is that here in Tobago, TNTech, they actually process for themselves, right? And the question was asked by a young man, I think it was A.J. Allen, which was an extremely intelligent question. He said, if we do the processing here in Tobago for ourselves as opposed to what Trinidad does, because they have intermediaries within the process, why isn't the rates in Tobago lower? And the response to that was, there is some guidelines that states that it should be the same, rates are supposed to be the same across the board.
You know, that model is never going to work. We are living in a real backward model. You have industries who are generating a higher cost of energy versus the average consumer in their homes. The rates can never literally be the same across the board.
Exactly.
We are also dealing with a situation whereby a purchase agreement between TNTech, RIC, PowerGen. When you come to understand the model is a flawed model that is doomed to fail. You have TNTech who has to, in the understanding of how I understood it, you have TNTech who has to purchase the energy to supply to PowerGen. PowerGen literally has to make the energy, and TNTech, after sending that energy to them that they would have purchased, have to still, on top of that, pay them for the energy supply. It's a bad model, and it is never going to work.
And that was a question that I was looking to see if anyone would have asked online, because I wasn't there live during the consultation. But this says to me that we as Tobagonians are now at a place where we have to advocate for these consultations to continue going on. Because there are a number of persons who only saw it online afterwards and said, oh my God, if I knew, I would have attended. Or there's so much more questions that we have to ask, especially where the rates for Tobago is concerned. And the RIC is saying that they have a law that says that the rates have to be the same across the board. But yet the RIC is positioned in a place to make recommendations, as you indicated.
And this is what you're saying.
And a recommendation that can be made is one that should lower the rates for Tobago, seeing that we are processing energy here for ourselves.
Not only that, is that we are supposed to be able to look at a rate that is for the average household and a rate for persons who are in the sector of manufacturing. And every one of these businesses in Tobago is going to be affected greatly if this rate passes through. And then you're looking at a higher cost of Tobago. So not only we have just said, hey, we can't pay you at the rate that you want for a salary. But if you look for the last 15 years, they tell you they give you a higher raise of pay, and then on top of that, they come with a double whammy to tell you this cost of goods going up, that cost of goods going up. Is never going to work. You're just putting the person in the same position.
All right. And so tell me, from a community activist and an advocacy perspective, because we have to wrap up, what are you going to do, and who do you plan to partner with to forward these conversations with the RIC and to ensure that consultations continue? Because as we indicated previously, there is the need for more consultations with Tobagonians and to have a wider cross-section of Tobago represented.
Well, it's funny that you asked that question, because I did reach out to the Tobago Chamber of Commerce, had a very brief conversation with Ms. Haddad, and we are of the same opinion that literally these consultations cannot move forward in the way it is designed. It is a flawed model. And what is going to happen to the average Tobagoan if we are not on board is that you're going to have all Tobagoans paying a higher price of living. We can't say what is the forward process at this point in time because I do not know what the aim of the final determination of the RIC is. But what I would love to see is real updates to the percentage of Tobagoans that have been met in these consultations. What are the reviews? In order for us to shape the decision, because this is what the consultation is supposed to be designed to meet. And if we are able to meet to that level of goal that says, as Ms. Percy said, raise the pay before directly increase rates, and we can agree to that, yes, then we know that we are on the right path. If not, then you should be giving Tobagoans an alternative model. We are nowhere near our sustainable development goals for 2030. And although we are hearing from the Commission that the government has received for XYZ solar panels, there is still the question for every Tobagoan. Do I have the option if I cannot afford the rates? Can I switch to solar power or renewable energy? And it's a conversation that is not on their table at this point in time.
All right. So tell me, you said you spoke with Diane Haddad, who is the chairman of the Tobago Chamber of Commerce. Correct. There also is the Tobago CivilNet, and there are other civil society bodies that exist on the island. There is the Tobago Council of Elders, and a number of groups. There are different village councils. So tell me, what is the mobilization going to be like to have that level of advocacy for the RIC before they even begin to implement or even write any of these recommendations into their policy to really advocate to have them come back to Tobago and give Tobago the respect that it deserves?
You know, the question, I love that question. And, in my conversation with Ms. Haddad, she is convinced that Tobagoans will take this. And it's a sad thing that I think what really needs to happen now is real mobilization of all the forces. That once directly we can be able to bring all the societies together to have a sit down and a conversation with the RIC, that we can find a way to move forward. But at this point in time, the way it's going, it is my humble opinion that they would have already made a final determination on this. And this is just a process.
Okay, and do you think that Tobagonians and the different NGOs and stakeholders would be willing to come out to a meeting where they are able to voice their concerns regarding what is happening with this tea and tech rate increase?
With proper marketing and advertising, I am of the belief that this is possible.
And so the representative from the RIC, which we said is Mr. Ray Sandy, do you think that we can get him involved there and maybe a representative from the RIC to attend one of those sessions?
Only Mr. Sandy can answer that question, but I would hope and believe that the RIC is acting in the best interest of every Tobagoan, and that if we are claiming that this is a consultation where you can hear the recommendations putting forward, yes, I am of the belief that we can get to that place where proper consultation can be held, and there is a two-way model for us to be able to arrive at these goals.
Okay, and is there a call being made out to the RIC to come back to Tobago, or what? Tell us, what do you desire to come out of this interview this morning?
Well, it is my hope that before they make final recommendations, that you go through the correct series of consultations. This is approximately 2 days of consulting, and this is only 2 villages. We have 7 parishes on the island.
Right.
Yes.
And do you think this is an indication of the lack of respect that we often speak about when we speak to the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, it's
that they see Tobago as only being Tobago East and Tobago West, and thinking that the community center at Cane and Bonaccord could encompass, even a small majority of Tobagonians?
It's a very fair statement. I can literally say that there are a number of Tobagonians who feel that we are being put last in the discussion. And this is not just stemming from this conversation. This stems from the last consultation we had with the airport acquisition expansion, where we are last into the conversation. What we would also like to know at this point in time is what is the THA's position on the matter, seeing that we have a government entity here to represent the people of Tobago. Where are they in these consultations? Have they been invited to these consultations? I think the average Tobagoan needs to know these things.
That's a very interesting point, and it's sad that we have to close off here, but that is a very interesting point, because we have not heard many of our representatives coming out to speak to this TNTech wage increase.
Yes.
And that is something that is necessary. And so we're about to go, and so I want to thank Tobagonians for watching and listening, and the individuals that went out to the consultations, whether you went to the Canaan Bonaccord Community Center or you went to Bell Garden and you voiced your complaint. Many persons are saying that they don't even think that their recommendations would be considered. And persons such as Mr. Mack himself, they are asking for some of the recommendations or some of the feedback that came from the consultation to be published, because we were told that these recommendations are being recorded and they would be submitted. However, where is the transparency where this is concerned? Has Tobagonians been put last again? Are we not being considered on the level that they have considered our counterparts in Trinidad? Is our voice truly being heard? These are the questions that are being asked. And another question that's being asked as well, where is the Tobago civil society in all of this? Where are our representatives in all of this? And who is truly seeking the best interest of Tobago? Guys, stay tuned, and I hope to continue this conversation as we go forward in our series here on Good Morning Tobago. And be sure to stay tuned, and remember, next week Tuesday we are talking business and politics. So guys, continue to stay tuned to the #1 broadcast station here in Tobago, Tobago Updates. Thank you for joining us, guys. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Enjoy your day. Bye.